Hi, this is Carl Gould. I'm the author of multiple books, and my new book, The Obnoxious Offer, is coming out soon. I also have a podcast called The Carl Gould Collective, and I'm the founder of 7 Stage Advisors. In this episode, we talk all about pricing, how to be an authority, and how to grow a business and launch a business during really tough times. So listen in. You're going to hear some tips you probably wouldn't hear from anyone else. And these are the secrets that are working in over 70 countries right now.
Welcome to the Business Growth Architect Show. I am Beate Chelette. I am the host. I want to welcome you to our globally top 10% ranked podcast, where you will hear from industry experts about the strategies that are working right now to unlock hidden opportunities in any market, so that you can grow your authority and scale your impact. And now, let's get started with the show. And hello, welcome back, everyone. This is Beate Chelette, the host of the Business Growth Architect Show. And today we are talking to Carl Gould. And Carl is a business advisor. Carl, welcome to the show. Will you tell everybody a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm a business advisor. I'm known as a growth advisor. Started my career out in contracting. I had a landscape design and installation firm, design build firm. Then I had a construction and real estate development firm. But I really fell in love with the idea of helping people design and go after their dreams, and found myself in the early stages of the coaching industry, but really getting involved in coaching. And I've been doing that ever since.
And rumor has it you have been in your career worked with quite a few very well-known people and been around some businesses that people might be familiar with. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I did work for a long time with Tony Robbins and Stephen Covey and Ken Blanchard and situational leadership and the Dale Carnegie companies and the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind with T. Harv Eker and a number of mastermind groups throughout the country. So yeah, I've really been blessed to have been able to work with some really cool people in the industry and have had a chance to really make an impact.
So the reason I wanted you to brag a little bit is because I want everybody to really pay attention to what we're going to be talking about today, because we're going to address a topic. We talk about pricing, and we're going to talk about sort of positioning, and we're also going to talk a little bit about mindset. And Carl, let's just put the facts on the table here. A lot of people have been laid off. A lot of people are maybe wanting to stick it to the man, and they go, that's it. I've had it. I'm going to be a coach, consultant, expert. So we have, in my careful estimation, we're going to probably have about somewhere between 150,000 and 200,000 new coaches, experts, and consultants in the market. Should people that have been doing this for longer than a month be freaking out now, or is there opportunity?
Well, there's a ton of opportunity. There's so many. Technology has brought the potential client and the potential coach closer than ever. And really, as a consultant, as a mentor, as a coach, as an advisor, what you need to have done is you either need the experience or the achievement that someone else desires. And if you can help them along that path for whatever period of time, there's real value in that. And so technology is allowing for all these different areas of expertise where you could provide value. The time has never been better than now. And when times get tough, this is when people need more help. So in a lot of ways, you could not have asked for a better timing for all this.
And so the reason this is such a good time is just because people are out there that now have the problems that they had before. Are they more pronounced than they were ever before? Is it that weaknesses are being exposed in a tougher market? What's happening that makes this the opportunity? And I'm so glad I can ask you all these tough questions, because you're one of the few people who can actually answer them.
There's a lot of different and varied reasons why there's opportunity. But let's just start with technology, because I think that's what's leveled the playing field. So technology has not only, like I said, brought people closer together, but technology has created other opportunities where you could be a coach or an advisor. So in other words, before there was social media, there was no need for a social media coach. Now we have social media. So let's say I'm really good at one platform over another, I can show people how to be successful on that platform. As the marketing within that platform becomes more sophisticated, I can coach on that. If I become an influencer on that platform, now I become a valued resource there. So there's all these micro niches that are emerging as technology brings people closer and closer. So we have the expertise and the experience over here. We have the person the consumer over there. It's brought them closer, but it's also given us all these other verticals and other reasons why somebody could be an expert. So I think you have this perfect storm coming together for that reason.
I love that. So here's what I hear a lot. And it's a quote. I want to wait. What would you say to a coach or consultant who now says, it's a little iffy. I don't know where the market is going. I'm concerned. I got to preserve my cash. I'm going to wait. Is that a good strategy?
Well, the question I would have for that person is, wouldn't it be great if you had somebody who could guide you through that process? Right? You're uncertain about the market. Wouldn't it be great to have a market forecaster? Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Wouldn't it be great to have someone who could show you how to budget and create a business model in order to get through times like this? Oh my God, that would be amazing. And wouldn't it be great to have somebody to show you the content that would be valuable for people right now? And if you said yes to any one of those, that means you would value a coach, mentor, consultant, or advisor during this time, which means if you would value it during this time, then other people would value your expertise. 2/3 of the Fortune 500 companies were born during a recession.
I'm just going to jump right in here because I want everybody to see what Carl just did. So Carl took a statement that I made and immediately flipped it over by going through a series of questioning of helping to identify what the real reason behind it was, which is not knowing what to do. Did I nail that?
Correct. Somebody might be uncertain. They have SID or FUD. Self-induced doubt or fear, uncertainty doubt, but they have SID on one shoulder, FUD on the other. And SID and FUD are just trying to keep them safe. They're like, listen, I don't want you to get hurt. Let's be conservative here. Let's wait till it's a good time, right? If SID and FUD win, go get a job, because that will be, SID and FUD are just trying to provide a safety net. And with entrepreneurship, there's no safety net. You are your own safety net. You're the one who comes to the party and says, I believe in myself. I'm going to bet on myself. And because of that, there's billions of people out there that want what I have to offer. And my job isn't to find all 7 billion. I need 10 people that are willing to be my client and pay me $1,000 a month, $500 a month. If you got $500 a month from 10 people, you'd be making $72,000 for doing something 10 hours, 20 hours a month. Not bad.
No, not bad at all. Survivable, right? And
very
then,
much so.
And then expandable. Another podcast guest, Tommy Breedlove, he calls it, you have to participate in your own rescue.
Correct. Somebody could throw you a lifeline, but if you don't grab it and start kicking like crazy, that's right.
Yeah, that I think sort of really sums it up. So what I've heard, and everybody take a note of this, that if you are in this position right now where you're sitting and you say, I need to wait, I don't know what the market is doing, you are effectively putting yourself out of business because you are not taking advantage of looking for the opportunities. So one of the opportunities that I know you talk a lot about, Carl, with your clients is pricing. And I'm going to want to talk to you about this in just 1 minute. Are you looking for the hidden opportunities for you in this market? Or are you simply wanting to figure out what is your unique differentiation factor that makes clients want to work with you and not your competitors? If this resonates, I want to invite you to go to uncoverysession.com and schedule your 15-minute complimentary uncovery session with one of our business growth advisors that will take you through what your number one business growth blocker is, what you can do to remove it, and what your very best next step should be. And now let's get back to the show. So Carl, back to one of your favorite topics, pricing. So let me get this out of the way. There's a lot of people that make pricing a science. You keep it simple. So tell us, what does pricing have to do with me creating wealth?
Right. Well, pricing is the number one way that you communicate to your clientele, right? The moment you announce your pricing, you do two things. One is you tell the whole marketplace who you are and what you are. Are you the Timex or are you the Rolex, right? One is not better. Am I the Subaru or am I the Ferrari? And one is not better than the other. If you took a bunch of Subaru owners and said, what do you think of a Ferrari? They'd be like, oh my God, what a waste of money. And it's not as reliable. And you can't even take it off road. What good is it? A Ferrari owner would say, Subaru, I'm not so sure I want that car. What's that going to do for me? They're both right, right? So you tell the market who you are. You say, I am a Subaru. So all of you out there, I'm looking for Subaru buyers, right? I'm a Ferrari. I want Ferrari buyers. Not one is not better than the other. They're just different. The other thing that happens is you tell them who they are. You tell them what kind of buyer they are. Now, you have to be really careful here because your pricing has to be congruent with who you are and who they are and the product that you claim to be providing. So in other words, if you say, I'm the best, I have the best content, I have the best clients, but then you charge a little bit, something's wrong. Well, how can you be the best? Wait a minute. I pay more for front row seats at a concert. I pay more for that. How can they be the best if they're so cheap? Something's off, something's wrong. And so if you went on the street and you said to somebody, hey, I've got a brand new Rolex, $15. And they would say, $15? What's wrong with it? It's not congruent. So your pricing has to match the type of buyer you have and the type of product or service that you're selling. So it all has to be in alignment so people can trust that you are the authority or have the level of authority that you claim to have.
So somebody may say now, well, but I am not there yet. And maybe I'll have to go the long route and then raise my prices little by little by little when I'm there. First of all, is this a true statement, or is it rather an overall positioning where you have to make the decision and then own that decision? Or can you start slow and then go high?
Well, you can start slow and go high, but it gets you into a trap. I'll talk about the trap in a second. But think about this. If Oprah Winfrey tomorrow said, I was thinking of launching a mentoring program. I've not done mentoring before, and I'm a little nervous about it. So I'm thinking I might have to discount my prices. Or if Oprah Winfrey launched a mentoring program and she said, listen, I'm making myself available to the market in a way I've never have before. I'm having a mentoring program and I'm taking applications on my website. Do you think Oprah Winfrey would have to cut her prices, right? Probably not. But what is Oprah Winfrey's experience as a mentor, by the way? She's a great talk show host. She's a brilliant business person. What is her experience as a mentor? I don't know. I've never heard of the Oprah Winfrey mentoring program before, but I bet it'd be valuable to be in her company. I would likely pay her premium. In other words, she's made herself available to the market in a way that she had not been available before. She has expertise and she's willing to share it. And that has a value. So if you're new to the marketplace, just because you're new, let's say you came from a corporate job where you worked with a Fortune 500 company and now you are an advisor to the small or mid-market. It doesn't make you any less valuable. You are just available to the market in a way that you have not been available before. And that has a value to it. So in my way of thinking, you do not have to cut your pricing in order to get market share or to launch your business. And you certainly don't have to do it to prove anything to yourself or others. If you're valuable, you're valuable.
That makes so much sense to me. So for somebody who has this good girl or good boy syndrome. And you know where I'm going with this, that somebody who goes like, well, that I like that. That's great. But I still feel like I'm making stuff up. They always say fake it till you make it. But if you fake it, if you not truly believe it, if you fake it, there's this element of I'm a fraud.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome, yeah.
What is the secret of overcoming my own limitations, my own limiting beliefs to say, and myself included, and I sold a business for millions to Bill Gates. And still I have some of the same stuff where every day I have to sit down, do my mindset stuff and go like, okay, where are my limiting beliefs? Is it really true? So how do we break through that and get out on the other side? Or do we ever or is it even not possible?
Yeah, it is a challenging thing because look, I've worked with CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, and imposter syndrome is a real thing. It's something that at some point just about everybody experiences. And it's just one of these things where you say, well, why me? Why is all of this luck, wealth, you name it, bestowed on me? Like what did I do to deserve this? And I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being me and I'm just working hard and things seem to be coming my way, right? And so musicians do this all the time, right? They go from playing small clubs to playing big arenas and they're like, they're coming to see us? Like, why? We're the same four dudes who used to play that small club. Why are 80,000 people all of a sudden want to see us? So I think it's very natural because we just grow outside of our comfort zone. And the main reason is that all throughout our life, we are taught how to achieve something that we've never had before, but we're not taught what happens once we've won. What happens once we have, one of the first things I learned as a coach was that there's two types of distress you're going to deal with a lot as a coach. And the number two type of distress is I know what I want. I haven't gotten there yet. And I'm not sure, or I lack the strategy, or I don't have the resources or whatever. The number one type of distress is I've achieved my goals. I set out to achieve certain things and I've done that now. And the question I'm asking myself is now what? Or what's next? Right? You see it in sports all the time. A team gets out to a big lead, and then they give it back, right? The team that's catching up always has a target to go after, but the team out in the lead never knows what to do with themselves, and they almost always pull back. And so this happens in life and in business, because I promise you this, there are people out there, most of the people out there that have achieved a fair amount of success in business, at some point they've achieved more than they thought. Higher than they thought they would be. Like, wow, I never thought it would get this big. I never thought it would go that fast. I never thought it'd be this successful. And then they're in uncharted territory and they're standing outside their identity, their definition of themselves. Wait a minute, I'm just a small town boy or a small town girl. Now I'm in the big city. I must be an imposter. Surely someone's going to expose me. Right?
It was so interesting. I remember this moment very vividly. After I sold my company to Bill Gates, I'm in a group and I'm being interviewed. And then the interviewer said to me, you can stop justifying that you have a seat at the table. You already have a seat at the table. And I never forgot that he said that to me. I mean, first of all, I was really embarrassed. And second of all, that it was also so transparent and so visible that even though I had just done this huge deal that a tiny percentage of people ever even get close to, and yet I was still here trying to justify that I had a right to be there. And I thought about that very much like what you said. It's this thing where you said, well, nobody saw me coming. I didn't know I could do it, but maybe I must have known I can do it. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. But there was still sort of this the residual thing. So now let's go back to this pricing thing. So number one, I have to overcome my own limited thinking and step into setting my prices based up on what value, the value I bring, the value I put to it, the value they have. Is there some sort of magic formula?
Well, it's the value that the customer perceives in the moment, right? So if I have a bucket of water and you're not thirsty and nothing's on fire, that water's not worth as much. But if I have a bucket of water and you're dying of thirst, that all of a sudden you'd pay almost anything for that water. How important is it to the client? If I were to say to my daughter or my kids, any one of my three kids, and I would say, hey, listen, I can arrange for a lunch with Warren Buffett if you'd like. And they would say, well, why would I want to sit down with that old dude? I already have one of them in my life. I don't need to see Warren Buffett, right? What we need to find out is what's going on in somebody's life right now that makes working with you a must today. Like what just happened? For example, my youngest is a junior in high school and she is shopping for colleges. So I'm very interested now in the right college or university for her. And I did the same thing with my last two kids. When they were getting ready for school, all of a sudden I was very interested in what are colleges, what would be a good school, what is tuition, how do you do it? As soon as they picked their college, you could have talked to me all day long about choosing schools. I'm not in the market. It doesn't have any value for me right now. So what's going on in somebody's life? So there's a certain amount of timing, and are they ready, willing, and able, and are they interested in the product itself? And then the value is just what need does that fit for somebody? So here's what I like to do. And so in the beginning, when you're launching your business or you're trying to find out your worth, what I would do is I would try to find what is the highest price being charged in that marketplace. And then what I would do is I would offer just promotional prices for now to see who bites. And at what? And I'd move those prices up as much as I can. It's not discounting. Discounting says, I'm worth $200 an hour. I'm just going to do it for 80. And you just keep working for 80. And you're like, oh my God, I'm working for 80, right? This is, I'm worth $200 an hour for a limited time and for a limited group of people. I'm going to work for 100, then 120, then 150, then 180. And then 200, then 225, then 250, and find where your clientele is willing to pay, because it's your clientele who tells you what they're willing to pay. And so it happens all the time. You see certain things that start high and come low because the market's not willing to pay for it, or things that are low that start going higher and higher and higher because the market is willing to pay for it. And so there's an intangible, perceived value, and there is, and then there's the utility of the product and the service. People pay as much, if not more, sometimes for the perceived value of the product or service as they do for the utility of the product or service.
I like that. Another thing that you and I have talked about is looking at pricing like it's a menu. Like if I go to a restaurant where I have to have different kinds of things on the menu. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What does that mean?
Whatever business you think you're in, for right now, you're not in that business. Pretend you're a restaurant. What does a restaurant do? Is they have something for every appetite, right? They have appetizers and they have soups and salads and entrees. And there's always a pasta, a fish, and a steak, and a chicken, right? Red meat, white meat, and fish.
Don't forget the kids' meal.
And the kids' meal, and the sides, and the desserts, and the after dinner drinks, and the craft beers. There's something on there for everybody. I mean, think about it. You go into a restaurant, how often do you walk out and say, oh, nothing here for me at all. I can't do anything with this menu. It happens, but it rarely. And then they do something else, which I think is very slick, is they have something for every budget. So whether you have $50 or $500, you can walk into most restaurants and get something in just about everywhere. There might be a few exceptions, of course, but there's something for every budget. So that appetizer might be $10 or $20. That entree might be $20 to $50. That drink might be $5 to $15. But for only a few dollars, you can have something in that restaurant. Now, the high price items on the menu or your menu sets the value of your company. Then the menu of pricing sets the value of that product or service. So the auto industry does this very well. If you walk into a car dealership, what car do they have in the middle of the showroom on a carpet behind velvet ropes with lights on it? The most expensive car that nobody ever buys. And so you walk into the dealership and you say, wow, look at this thing. This is beautiful. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they're really on their game. And then you say, well, if they can build that monster, then they can build my minivan or my sedan. And so you walk in there, you see this beautiful showroom special, and you say, wow, the company is doing really well. And then the menu are all the cars on the lot or in the showroom. And you go pick one of them off the menu, right? And so your high-priced item sells the value of you or your business. And then your menu of products and services sells the value of that product. And if the value of your highest price item is high, they say, wow, I can get this champagne company for a beer price. And they feel like they're getting a good deal for their money.
This is really the concept that Gucci did when Gucci came out with their accessories. And I would walk in, I could not afford the Gucci handbag or the Gucci outfits or the Gucci loafers or the Gucci whatever, but I could afford the Gucci keychain and the Gucci wallet and the Gucci, whatever accessory. That's how Gucci made more money than on the other stuff.
More importantly, you couldn't afford to pay for the bag, but you overpaid for the keychain and the wallet because the name was on it. You actually paid an ultra premium for the smaller item. And that's a key part of this.
So how does the psychology of people kind of knowing this, but not consciously knowing this, help us with our pricing?
Okay. So you have about 20% of your client base will pay your reasonably high price. 20% of the 20% or 4% of your client base will pay whatever ultra premium you have. So you need to have a pricing structure that gives a path to your customers so they can say that they are your best customers and they can brag about it, right? Think about this. Do you know anyone who went on a Hawaiian vacation, upgraded to the beautiful suite, took all the tours, went to the volcano, and then complained about the price? Normally not. They usually brag about it. Like, I paid an extra $100 a night for the suite, but it's so worth it. When you go, ask for the ambassador suite, right? When you go to Disney World, definitely pay for the express line. Don't wait, right? I know it's a lot, but it's so worth it. People brag about a dream purchase. And they love telling you that they spent the most amount of money to buy the most expensive thing. And so we want to have a path to allow people to do that. And that, again, sets the value because not only do you have a high price, like, wow, people pay that, but think of the clientele you attract. When you watch a sporting event, what do? They show the front row and all the celebrities that showed up saying, wow, isn't this a great sporting event? it's the place to be seen, right? It adds
Yeah.
value to that sporting event, even if the game itself isn't all that good or the match. And so we want that premium and ultra premium pricing. So it's because there is a percentage of our clientele that not only want to pay, not only are willing to pay, but they want to pay because they are fans of your product or service, right?
So,
And then we want to have the menu for the rest. Go ahead.
So question here. So that now suggests that I have to also look at the experience that I'm creating. So the experience on my menu also has to be different. Tell us about that. What do I need to know about that? Because I can't, like, I paid for a program $8,000 and I got a shitty mug. And I was like, seriously, dude, for $8,000, that's the best you can do? So, we printed our boxes, our own boxes. So when you get a box from us, when you sign up for our high ticket program, you get a box. We got the billfolds, but we got the nice ones, right? We want this to be an experience. How much does this factor in owning those prices and then consistently creating this demand? What do I need to know about this?
So this is what we were talking about a little earlier. So like you said, you bought an $8,000 program and you got an $8 mug, right? What you should have gotten was an $80 gift basket that was nicely appointed and looked really sharp, right? Because you're like, wow, that's, for what I'm getting that's what I'm getting for my money, right? Okay, fair enough, right? So the experience has to match. It's all got to be, that's the congruence we talked about. High price has to go with high experience, high touch, high customer service. That's my expectation. White glove concierge across the top. Across the board. And so you look at the aspects of the pricing and the services you're offering, and they all have to match. So, for example, if there's a high ticket item and you're going to an event, I expect there to be a cocktail reception for those people that paid a little bit extra. And maybe there's a meet and greet with the speaker or the singer or the talent for that night. And maybe they're giving preferred seating. If I'm going to be first in paying, I want to be first in everything else. I want the nicest gift. I want the nicest experience. I don't want to wait. I want the shortest wait. I want all the things. I'm paying for all of the shortcuts, all of the platinum or premium aspects that you have to offer.
Yeah, I like this a lot. So I want to sum this up now because I think there's so much in here that people really need to think about. So we talked about your value proposition, on establishing who you're going to be in relationship to the market, and then making sure that that price reflects how you position yourself. You don't have to be Tony Robbins to charge certain prices. But if a Tony Robbins charges certain prices, somebody in the market charges these prices, so people paying this. So that's the mindset going in when I pick my own pricing. It must be possible because somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
Second thing is starting actually with my high ticket item based upon market analysis, value proposition, and then building the menu downward or sideward or whatever which way from there to make sure that I have everything. Have I summed this up well enough?
You have. I went to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within in 1990. It cost $600 to go to. The price of a general admission ticket has not changed in over 30 years, right? But he's got a menu now. And when I went, it was all general admission. But now he has VIP, he's got platinum, he's got diamond elite. He has just created a menu now, and a menu of experiences. And he keeps adding layers of experience for those that either ask for it or are willing to pay for it. It's smart. I mean, in an airline, you walk into a plane, you walk through first class, sometimes then business class, then economy plus, then economy, and then basic economy. Well, basic economy hasn't changed all that much over the years, right? And airlines make their money on coach. They don't make their money on first class. But having that menu, having a really good first class shows that this is an airline worth working with. And then go ahead and buy that coach seat because you're going to get that great service. So it's the menu that you want to have. And then your clientele will buy certain things from you, right? If you're selling, is an example. I've used Subaru before, so I'll use it again. They put out a really cool sports car. And then after a while, people didn't buy it. So they got rid of it. Volvo had a convertible. They're known for safety. They had a convertible. That doesn't match. But there's not that many out there. Right? You would think like the safest car in the world has a convertible. Wouldn't that be awesome? I could be safe in a convertible. You would think it would be the highest selling convertible in the world, but it's not, because their buyer's like, I want to be safe. I want a roof over my head. What are you doing with this rag over my head? That doesn't feel safe. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have the menu, your buyers will start to buy things and they won't buy other things, and they'll tell you what they want from you.
I like that a lot. Let the proof be in the pudding. So Carl, I know you do a lot more than pricing. So just tell our audience, how can they get a hold of you and what can they work with you together on their business to grow it?
For your listeners, I will offer them a free growth strategy session. We call it the business analysis. Just go to Carl360, CARL360.com.
Excellent. So I would definitely recommend you all to take advantage of it. A session like this will help you to figure out what the first step is in your business. Sometimes it's misalignment, sometimes it's confusion, sometimes it's value proposition. It could be 20 different things. And obviously, Carl, you know what you're talking about. So please take him up on the offer. And of course, we will be putting it in everything in the show notes. So Carl, I thank you so much for being on the show. I feel like I'm so selfish running this podcast because I always learn something. So your advice is just so spot on. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
And that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Until next time, this is your host, Beate Chelette, and goodbye. Thank you for listening to or watching the show. We are so excited that you're here and we are very grateful for you. Now it's our turn to ask you for help. Please do share this episode with one other person that needs to hear what we were talking about today. If there's any question you have about business, please do reach out to us and let us know. And don't forget to schedule your complimentary uncovery session at uncoverysession.com, where one of our business growth advisors will help you to figure out what your number one business growth blocker is in only 15 minutes. And that's it for us today. Until next time.